Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a Blu-ray DVD update, and I'm just going to throw in one VHS because that's instead of doing a VHS collection corner on it, because I like to do those when I have more than one tape, and didn't order any other tapes, just have this one, so I figured I'd throw it in with this video. Um, I guess we'll start off with the VHS tape. The one I got is the limited edition to 25 copies, Midnight Purple variant cover of Cat in the Brain on VHS with the Giallo yellow tape. And I got number 7 out of 25, which is really, really cool. Really cool that this is limited to 7 copies. This is one of my favorite Fulci films of all time. I think it still might be my all-time favorite. You know, next to like City of the Living Dead and House by the Cemetery and The New York Ripper. Really, really, really good stuff. The DVDs. Return of the Evil Dead, which is the second film in the Blind Dead series. I own the first Blind Dead movie, and I figured I'd buy the sequel because I really like the first one. And the Return of the Evil Dead is a very, very solid film. Uh, you know, it's got some cool gore effects. It's very, very atmospheric, very creepy, and uh, it's pretty well acted, and I just really enjoy the film overall. Not as good as the first film in the Blind Dead series, but it's still extremely solid, and I'm definitely planning on getting the rest of the series. Um, Definitely planning on getting the Ghost Galleon as well as Night of the Seagulls. This next one is a bit of a surprise because I didn't expect to get this. This is kind of a gift, actually, from the guys over at the Horror Pack. Now, for those of you who don't know, when I did my video on the Horror Pack, my copy of Penny Dreadful that they sent was damaged. The sleeve was damaged, and they contacted me and they asked me if they want, and they told me, "Look, we'll send you a new sleeve." Because that's what we do. We're collectors ourselves. We don't like it when that happens, and you should not have to stand for damaged sleeves on movies that we send you. So I figured, hey, why the hell not? And then they sent this with the sleeve on it, and I expected just to get another copy of Penny Dreadful, but no, I got this Val Luton horror double feature of I Walked with a Zombie and The Body Snatcher. Both of these films, never seen them before. I know that one of them is like considered to be one of the classic kind of voodoo zombie films, and the other one has to do with Boris Karloff, like digging up bodies. And and Bela Lugosi is also in this one. Still haven't watched it. I mean, I really, really dig, you know, old school classic horror. Uh, but I'm never, as much as I really like classic horror, I don't like to, you know, just like I have to be in the mood to watch it. You know, I can't just pop in, you know, Nosferatu whenever I want. I have to be in the right kind of mood to watch a film like that. Next, we got another zombie-esque movie. This one's probably one of my favorite zombie movies of the '90s. Um, it's My Boyfriend's Back, which I know they did a Blu-ray release of this recently. I don't know if that has any other special features because all this is a bare bones release. But honestly, you know, all I really need is the movie. I mean, I only want like the commentary if I really like the actors or director, or if the production surrounding the film was troubled or it was interesting. Um, but Yeah, My Boyfriend's Back. It looks like a really kind of stupid '80s comedy just from the cover, but it is not. It is a kind of dark horror fantasy comedy about a guy who gets killed after he asks this girl out to the prom, and then he comes back as a zombie, and a bunch of stuff happens, and he ends up eating some corpses. It's um, it's a surprisingly PG-13 movie. I mean, this movie isn't like extremely violent or sexually explicit, but there are a couple things in there that I thought would instantly grant this film an R rating, but it didn't. I guess that's the 90s for you. Next, we have one of these cheap 5 movie sets. I'm not too big on these, although I own a few of them. I'm not super big on these unless they have some good movies on them. And this one I mainly own for one movie on the set. Um, but it is Summer School, The Inflicted, Samuel Bleak, Blind Witness, and The Cry. Now I've seen The Cry, and The Cry is absolutely terrible. Um, and I've seen Summer School, and Summer School is the main reason that I own this set, that I own this kind of cheap 5 movie set, um, because Summer School is kind of like an anthology film about a horror fan who's in summer school, and he falls asleep and has nightmares based around subgenres of horror. There's one where he encounters monsters. There's one where he encounters like a murderous rapist hillbilly, much like in Deliverance. There's one where he encounters a Nazi, similar to Nazi exploitation films. There's one where he's a serial killer, similar to slasher films. And it's all really, really interesting little anthology film. I honestly really dig the movie overall. It's not perfect, and it's far from perfect, but it is very, very interesting. The next one is one that is actually a straight recommendation from Mr. Parka. Uh, he did a review of this film, and it sounded interesting enough, so I pre-ordered it, and it arrived today. It is Flesh for the Inferno. Have not taken it out of the wrapper yet. Haven't watched it. Um, all I really know is it's supposed to be a very kind of like 80s kind of supernatural, um, like 80s kind of Night of the Demons, Evil Dead, uh, demons, kind of giallo inspired horror film. Not giallo, but Italian horror inspired film involving like supernatural things and demonic possession. And it's an independent film, which I'm always down for some independent filmmaking, and it just sounds right up my alley. I mean, if I were to complain about one thing, it'd probably be the cover. It just looks a little bit generic, but I'm not gonna complain. I hope that this movie is good. Um, but yeah, no, I hope I end up enjoying it because I really want to like this one. And finally, the movie I pre-ordered a while back and finally got it. It is the limited edition, limited to 3,000 copies, um, Blu-ray of The Sinful Dwarf. The Sinful Dwarf is an exploitation film I've been interested in seeing for a very, very long time. And the DVD was out of print for a while. There were a couple things, there was like a couple DVD releases, and like they were out of print or way too expensive. And I figured now that I have a job and I can afford things, I'd pre-order it without really knowing much about it. I know that this has a couple. Um, this film has some cool special features, such as 2 different versions of the film, 2 different cuts. The Dwarf, which is the international version, which has all the sex and violence. Then you have the Abducted Bride, the U.S. version of it, which I'm sure is heavily censored. We have a featurette on the infamous Grindhouse producer, um, who I guess produced or directed this film. Harry Novak. So I guess he might have produced this film. I'm sure he was involved with it. Um, they've got another feature film on it, The Blue Balloon, which don't know much about. I'm sure it is some kind of. I'm sure it's another kind of adult exploitation, kind of sexploitation film. But it's a third movie on it, so that's really, really cool. Uh, there's some deleted scenes. There's a featurette on how they tried to search for members of the cast and crew for this film, and a film, and even a featurette on the controversy of it, and trailers, TV spots, radio ads, stuff like that. Really, really cool. If I were to complain about anything, which I saw this in an unboxing video of it, it's that on the inside it is empty. It is just the disc. There's no reversible cover art. There's no booklet. Even if it was just a booklet, like advertising Severin's other releases, I still would have at least thought that that was cool. Or maybe a mini poster, that would have been cool. And then another thing I got to complain about is it says it's limited to 3,000 copies. Um, and I hate it when they do that. Like, because, I love it when there's a limited edition and I get my hands on it and I'm like, yes, I have the limited edition. And then you know, but then I hate it when it's a limited edition. I can't get my hands on it, and then I get pissed off because it was limited edition. But something I really got to complain about is when it's a limited edition and they don't number it, because when I get like a limited edition DVD and it's numbered, or a Blu-ray release and it's numbered, I know that it's actually that's kind of a good indicator for me to know that this film is actually a limited edition. Here it just says it's limited to 3,000, which I've seen companies say, "Oh, this is a limited edition," and then continue to sell the exact same Blu-ray and or DVD release for the next 10 years. And I don't think it would take 10 years. I mean, okay, The Sinful Dwarf is a pretty obscure movie, but I honestly don't think it would take that long to sell an exploitation film like this that not everybody has heard of, but people deep into exploitation films have heard of, and there are quite a few. And there's a decent amount of people who are into exploitation films. But that's really it for now. Actually, yeah, no, this was produced by Harry Novak. Harry Novak Presents. But yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna have to probably watch this one or Flesh for the Inferno tonight. Probably maybe both. But anyway, guys, that's it for now. This is Biscuit Boo 69 signing off. Peace.